Hope is one of the most important pieces of dealing with a mental illness.
All you need is someone to just say, I see you and I understand.
My mental illness did not stop me.
Once you find that light, you'll see you're able to shine into anybody else.
I'm Cindy Hsu, and today we are breaking the stigma and highlighting hope and solutions. This is a season that fills many of us with optimism and positivity, which is so important for our mental health. But as we head into the holidays, we also understand there are those who face the struggles of mental illness, either their own or that of a loved one. And that can make this time of year especially challenging. But no matter what the season, issues surrounding mental health can be ever present. Over this next half hour, we're going to be highlighting some incredible people, programs, and treatments, some that are free or easy to access, to other more serious interventions. And we start in the middle of a New York City landmark with a life-affirming message of love and courage.
Before I get up here, it's always an anxious feeling. Thank you. Have a blessed day. I wait for the people to engage with me.
It's a cool message.
If someone wants to receive the message, that's cool. Some people aren't ready to receive the message, and that's okay too. It's all love either way.
Thank you, bud.
Don't forget the message, all right?
I want you to read your sign to me.
And it says if you're reading this right now, I just want to let you know that your life matters, you are important, you are loved, you are the only you in this world, and no one can replace you. Words are powerful, you know? When you say it to yourself, it may get you through that tough moment.
What was going through your mind that brought you to this?
During COVID, I felt like I was in a dark place. What helped me sometimes was seeing positive messages. You know, you're loved, you're important, but we need to hear that, you know, and it matters.
Thank you. 32-year-old Brooklyn native Jose Cruz has a steely determination as he holds his handwritten sign, but there's an approachable softness, too.
She was crying. I feel like she really needed a hug. You know, I think she needed to see this. This is why I do what I do.
I love it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
What is your ultimate goal here? What would you love to see?
The ultimate goal is to just spread love and positivity. I know sometimes it gets really dark, but that light is within you, and once you find that light, you'll see you're able to shine into anybody else.
He holds signs up like this. The time I spent with Jose was so impactful that I shared it with hundreds of guests at the recent NAMI NYC's fundraiser. And he calls it the World Needs Love Tour. NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Matt Kudish is NAMI NYC's CEO.
What comes to mind when you think hope and solutions?
I think hope is one of the most important pieces of dealing with a mental illness in yourself or someone you love. The other thing is to remember that you're not alone. When people are diagnosed with cancer or have a heart attack or break a leg, family, friends, neighbors often rally around. When someone has a psychotic episode or a suicide attempt, most people don't show up at all. When you come to a place like NAMI NYC and connect with people who truly get it, it changes everything.
One of the things I love about NAMI NYC are all the incredible programs that you have.
So all of our programs are run by and for people either who live with mental illness themselves and have found recovery, and just as importantly, people who love people who live with mental illness. We have over 40 support groups that take place every month.
And this is all free?
Everything we do is available free of charge to anyone who needs it. You can call us, you can email with us, and now you can chat with us. You can come to a support group tonight and never come back, or come tonight and never stop coming. We have people who sign in the attendance sheet as Superman. Okay, you know, we don't, it doesn't matter to us. We just want you to get help.
While NAMI NYC's extensive roster of free programs does address eating disorders, this is a mental illness that may need more intensive treatment.
Tell me your experience with eating disorders.
When I was 10 years old, I was a ballet dancer. A simple diet turned into an almost 10-year battle with my eating disorder. And I struggled with anorexia nervosa, with bulimia nervosa, and with binge eating disorder. And I came very close to losing my life several times.
What's going on in your mind?
It was this constant bombardment of this very abusive internal voice. If I was never good enough, I often questioned why I was on this earth.
Tell me about your recovery. What worked?
Sometimes all you need is someone to just say, I see you and I understand.
It took more than a decade for Joanna Kendall to find her road to recovery and credits therapy with a key role. She says creating the National Alliance for Eating Disorders was a vital and positive step.
I think some people look at eating disorders and say, well, just eat.
Yeah, it's realizing that eating disorders are serious mental illness. We know that there's changes in brain, and I think we need to view as all mental health in the same way, because mental health is health.
How dangerous and deadly is this mental illness?
Eating disorders have the second highest lethality rate of all psychiatric disorders, only second to opioid abuse and overdose. Every 52 minutes, someone in this country will die as a direct result of their eating disorder. With proper access to care, recovery is possible. I started the organization 24 years ago. We know that shame and secrecy breeds isolation. And we know that that's where eating disorders get worse. We know that that's where mental health gets worse. We're opening the door for imagining or seeing a life beyond what they're struggling with.
And what would you say to a parent who thinks, my child might have an eating disorder?
Love your child. Definitely, reaching out to the National Alliance for Eating Disorders. We have a free, toll-free helpline that is staffed by clinicians that are specialized in the treatment of eating disorders. We have free therapist-led support groups as well for individuals struggling as well as their loved ones. But really knowing that you don't have to do this alone.
A recurring theme as we talk about hope and solutions is that you are not alone. There are people and organizations to help you, guide you, and treat you. I know firsthand it can be hard to ask for help, but can also be the greatest thing you can do for yourself. It can even save your life. Don't suffer in silence. Reach out. Coming up.
I've struggled all my life with depression and things like that.
In our organization, we have a mental health day. There's evidence that it improves retention, recruitment, morale, and ultimately productivity.
Breaking the Stigma, sponsored by Stony Brook Medicine.
Welcome back to Breaking the Stigma, as we take an encouraging look at hope and solutions. As issues surrounding mental health become a more regular part of conversations about health in general, we turn our attention to some established and controversial treatments and programs. You may be familiar with some, but their current applications and successful inroads in dealing with mental illness may surprise you.
My first thought was what a lot of people have as their first thought. One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Are you ready? Here we go.
I'm not going to let my brain get electrocuted, but I didn't want to suffer anymore. So I took the chance. And I still am glad I did.
ECT is electric convulsive therapy. It's using electricity to induce a seizure, which ultimately resets the brain. There's a chemical imbalance, and that imbalance creates some of the symptoms related to diagnoses like depression. So what ECT does is it induces a seizure, and then that ends up really sort of addressing some of the symptoms that are related to that chemical imbalance.
Dr. Eric Alcera is Chief Medical Officer at Carrier Clinic, where 33-year-old Caroline Marinero received ECT treatments for about 2 years, starting in 2019. She had been suffering with crippling depression and anxiety for years.
To live every day not caring about anything, not wanting to do anything, not feeling like you're worth anything. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I would not.
Dr. Alcera says they perform around 4,000 ECT procedures there a year. Patients are put under general anesthesia and given a muscle relaxer to control spasms. Procedures last only a few minutes.
There are downsides with any procedural intervention that happens in medicine.
It made me very unsteady on my feet, but that went away. It's really the memory loss that was the most long-standing side effect.
Dr. Alcera adds this can also be effective for treatment-resistant psychiatric illnesses.
It was like being colorblind and then waking up one day and you can see every color.
I started my therapy journey in 6th grade, and it was for anxiety.
And did it help?
Yeah, it really did help. It was a journey of finding myself, finding that I have this
mental illness that I never knew I really had.
Now 20 years old, Yanzio Lara says his harrowing experience with mental illness caused him to be hospitalized several times as a young teen. He adds his psychosis was made worse by smoking cannabis. He was eventually diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, a combination of schizophrenia and bipolar disorder.
So tell me how CARES has helped you.
I was lost and I didn't know what to do. I was just I had this anger built up, and I felt that would lead me to probably in the streets. And then CARES came and they helped me.
CARES is the Comprehensive Adolescent Rehabilitation and Education Service. It's a very intensive level of treatment for mental health and substance use disorders, while also incorporating a full-time academic program. Our students are here with us all day long, attending classes, being pulled out for their individual therapy sessions. They're coming because they have not been making it in school. It could be their mental health issues, their substance issues, family, social, emotional, and academic. They're telling us by not going to school or by not functioning in school that they need more help. One of those is group therapy. And then also everybody's getting at least twice a week individual therapy. Also for family therapy once a week. When kids are struggling actively in class, students will come out and have therapists on hand. The alternative of what happens in their regular huge school is I just leave and nobody notices.
What did it feel like to graduate from high school?
Oh my gosh, I felt relieved that I finally did it, that my mental illness did not stop me.
What would you say to other young people who might be going what you went through?
They hear this a lot, but you're definitely not alone. You could find a place where the journey won't be so tough.
I do believe at the end of the day, the biggest pandemic maybe of all is mental health. And it's the oldest and at the same time maybe the newest.
And that is what's propelling fashion designer and social activist Kenneth Cole to lend his voice and corporate muscle to this issue, keeping it in the spotlight and rounding up other influential business leaders for ideas, support, and outreach.
You've really taken the lead on this as a business person. What would you hope other business leaders would do?
You got to somehow support the community and also aspects of the individual. And if you can make impact, social impact, personal impact, part of the business model, everybody wins over time. So we set up this Wellness at Work event here in New York. We had 150 companies signed on. They signed a pledge that they're going to commit themselves to be sensitive to the needs and be available to resources and make them available to their associates. You just go to the mentalhealthcoalition.org.
I think very often a lot of stress can come from the workplace.
The statistics are 12 billion workdays lost, $1 trillion lost in productivity because of stress and anxiety in the workplace. We have in our organization, we have a mental health day. There's evidence that it improves retention, recruitment, morale, and ultimately productivity.
It looks like your fingers are out in many different ways to tackle mental illness.
We struggle sometimes. We are making impact. We could make so much more, and we will. We'll figure this out. But it's been a very rewarding journey.
What do you do for your own mental health?
I try to meditate. I don't do it often enough. And I just try to reflect whenever I can.
Mindfulness is about having alignment between my mind and my body so that my attention is focused on the experience of being in this moment. There is so much research happening around mindfulness, and some of it has been around managing addictions and addiction recovery. What mindfulness offers is the capacity to recognize that craving quite early on, and then to have the skills to ride out what can be really a very intense wave that can lead to using a substance. An informal mindfulness practice might be just noticing what's happening around me, maybe even a minute at a time. And that's something that's really accessible for everybody, and even just doing those kinds of practices appear to be associated with really positive outcomes.
I'm on TV too much, to hide things from people.
I wrote down one line, which was, "The fate of all life on earth rests with a girl who doesn't know if she wants to live."
Do you have any questions for Cindy?
Yeah.
Her experience?
Yeah. Did you have support?
I had support once I hit rock bottom.
Welcome back to Breaking the Stigma as we take a look at some hope and solutions. Now, rock bottom is a scary and lonely place to be. I am so grateful for the support I have gotten and continue to get from my family, friends, and medical professionals. And one thing I know helps me navigate through my mental health journey is just being able to talk to someone, to reach out for help without any shame attached. It may seem like a hard thing to do or a difficult conversation to have, but for me and so many others, that outreach is an invaluable lifeline and a critical element in finding and maintaining good mental health. At the end of your show, you have a tagline about mental health.
Take care of yourself, especially your mental health. You deserve joy and happiness. Go get it.
And why it's important to you.
I've struggled all my life with, depression and things like that. And I've gotten a lot of help from just letting go and admitting that there's a problem with me.
Millions know Drew Carey as the host of The Price is Right, upbeat, positive, and so engaging. But he has also openly discussed his challenges with mental illness, battles with dark thoughts, and even suicide attempts in his teens and 20s. What prompted you to share your story with everyone? Because I just did it a few years ago, and it was difficult.
Yeah, what have I got to lose? Nothing. I'm already Drew Carey. I'm already on The Price is Right. It's going to benefit people. I'm on TV too much, to hide things from people. There's no hiding you. And I know the both of us kind of count on that to keep our jobs.
It's easy to mask, and people need to be aware of that.
And I get together with my friends, and before we start with our regular conversation, let's do a mental health check. And we just go health check, and we go person to person, then check in with each other. That's what friends do.
What are the top things that you do to keep your mental health, healthy?
I make time for myself, and I do have people I can talk to about problems. But for baseline, constant happiness, live within your means so your bills are taken care of, so you're not stressing finances every month. Then family and friends that you trust and you're close with. And then be nice to the server at the restaurant. Be nice to the clerk at the 7-Eleven because it's the because it's the right thing to do.
So when you came up with the idea to incorporate, a positive message about mental health to the end of your show, what was the reaction?
I've gotten a lot of really positive feedback about it. There's just this idea that men have to hold it all in, and that's why men have higher rates of suicide, higher rates of homelessness. They're, they're ashamed to ask for help. If I was in the Marine Corps, I'm all man all the way around. It should be normalized, mental health. It's a really big, important thing to me to change the way people think about their mental health and how to approach it.
I'm just wondering what you would say to people, and especially, like you said, to the men out there.
Why don't you consider your mind as part of your body? Why do you neglect your brain and your mental health when it's all connected? A lot of people are suffering and they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. If you hear me now and you rationally know that, oh yeah, he's right, I could see somebody and I would feel better, and you don't, you're being kind of a dope.
The Haunted Girl basically started out as an idea I jotted down on a reporter's notebook in a hospital cafeteria when my daughter was hospitalized for depression and suicidality. I really want to come up with a story that would inspire Naomi to keep wanting to live and to keep fighting. I wrote down one line, which was, "The fate of all life on earth rests with a girl who doesn't know if she wants to live." And Naomi was getting to be in a much better place through therapy and personal growth and other things, and so I asked her if she wanted to co-write it.
In the very, very beginning, it wasn't something that I personally had much interest in, but I did know that the idea was very strong and had a lot of potential because, it is an issue that so many people struggle with. It I guess started to grow on me wow, this is a really personal thing that I shared, and also look at the impact that it's having on others and look at how it's resonating with other people, and that was really cool.
A Haunted Girl now has 4 published issues and a new trade paperback that the father-daughter writing duo were signing recently at Comic-Con in New York City.
I'm trying to, I guess, take things a bit more one step at a time. I'm very lucky to have a great support team. Sometimes it's okay to just be like, hey, I would like some support. Could you be here?
I really wanted her to know what she was getting into. If you Google your name after this, it's your personal history is out there. So you have to be sure that you want to do this. I also hoped, but didn't know if she would find catharsis in that process.
There were some emotional scenes, and I definitely did have to take breaks, but there was a sort of catharsis in knowing like where I am now versus where I was back then.
Another important message in A Haunted Girl is that of hope and help. The front of the book offers information for 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and the back has other resources and information from the American Psychiatric Association.
We've been working with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, so I'm excited and thankful to get the invite to do my first walk. Our first walk.
Tell me what it was like to be around so many people who understand.
It's really like everyone is, supporting. Like we are not alone.
I now ask everyone to hold up your beads and to know that you are not alone. Together, we will fight to end suicide. I've been connected with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, AFSP, for years. Their annual walk here in New York City brings together thousands of people who collectively celebrate life, but also for too many mourn loved ones lost to suicide.
I can't answer any questions to why. I will never know. Just got to keep on going.
We've all been touched by suicide. What is it like to be here with so many people?
It's very comforting to be here with so many people and to help support other families that are going through this.
I tried to take my life twice between 2021 and 2022.
What would you tell somebody who's just starting the journey that both you and I have been on, attempt survivors?
That you will get through this. And there are so many beautiful things that we just need to open our eyes to and start noticing them.
Thank you for joining us for Breaking the Stigma and our look at hope and solutions. Now, this, of course, barely scratches the surface of the many mental health challenges people may face and the array of modalities available to help treat them. But the most important takeaway is that there is help. Reach out to family, resources you may have at work, or professionals. We have links on our website at cbsnewyork.com. And if you or anyone you know is in distress, call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You'll find free guidance and counseling 24/7. I'm Cindy Hsu, wishing you a healthy holiday season.